All right, so now that we have our project boilerplate set up with Sass, okay, you should have Koala open so that Sass compiles automatically. We're going to start on our custom navbar. Okay, this navbar is going to be a little different. It's going to be much thicker. We're also going to implement a custom logo. So let's get the images for this project. So I'm going to go ahead and just go to our Mazooks theme and the IMG folder, and then go to my project images, which was it's available in the I think it's section 6. It's the Bootstrap boiler video. And then in Mazooks, you'll see we have a bunch of different images. We have this custom logo that I just created with Photoshop, just an M inside of a circle. So we're just going to grab all of these and put those inside of our image folder. Okay, and then we'll go back to VS Code, and we want to start on our navbar. So we're going to go right here. I'm just going to replace this start here with a nav tag, and I'm going to give this all of our basic classes. So navbar. We also want to do navbar expand, and I'm going to do MD for this instead of SM. I'm going to have it happen at the responsiveness happen at medium screens. And then I'm going to say navbar dash light because it will be a light navbar. And let's also make it, actually I should be putting dots here. Let's also make it fixed top. And like I said, I want it to be a little thicker, so I'm going to give it a PY padding of 4. So padding on the top and bottom. And then inside the nav, let's put a container, and then we're going to put our branding. So a tag with the class of navbar dash brand, and it's just going to go to index HTML. Actually, we can have it go to, let's have it go to hash home. And for the branding, we're going to put, we're actually going to put our logo in here. So we want an image tag, and we're going to give this, let's see, we'll just do image tab. We'll do a source, which is in the image folder, and it's called mlogo.png. All right, and I'm going to set a fixed width of 50 and also a height of 50. And then right under that, I'm going to put an H3 with the class of D inline. I want this to display inline against the image, and I want it to align to the middle. And then in here, I'm just going to say Mazooks, which is the name of the theme. Okay, now under the branding, under the A tag, we'll put our button, and this will be the navbar toggler. And then we want to add data toggle of collapse. And I know that some of this is repetitive, but it's going to get it in your brain so that you don't have to keep looking at this stuff to, when you're building your own projects. So data target, let's do, we'll just say navbar collapse. And inside the button, we want our span, and it's going to be navbar dash toggler. Let's not make the same mistake that we made in the last project and forget the R. It's going to be navbar toggler icon, not icons, icon. And then under the button is where we're going to have our div with the ID of navbar collapse. Okay, and this is also going to have a class of collapse and also navbar collapse. Okay, so inside here we'll have our UL, which will have a class of navbar nav, and it'll also have a class of ML auto to align everything. And then we just have our items. So let's do li.nav item. And every link needs to have a class of nav link. And this is going to go to home. For the text, we'll say home. And then I'll just copy this li. So we're going to do, that's 1, we'll do 2, 3, and 4. So the second one is going to go to about. So we'll change that in this. This one is going to go to authors. And for the text, we're going to say meet the authors. And then this last one is going to go to the contact. And for this, we'll just say contact. Okay, so that should do it. Let's save and let's take a look. So it should look like this by default. Now we're going to add some stuff to this. I want to have a nice box shadow with the main color. The main color of this, the primary color I should say, is going to be this teal or bluish green, whatever you want to call this color here of the logo. So let's go back to our VS Code, and we're going to go into our Sass, our custom Sass file, which is style.scss. That's where you want to write your CSS. Now with CSS, or I'm sorry, with Sass, we can use variables. So I'm going to set a primary variable. Okay, variables are done with a money sign, and I'm going to set it to the actual, to that bluish, that tealish color. That's going to be the main color. So we're going to say 329 2A6. Okay, that's going to be our primary color. And while I'm at it, I'm going to put the primary overlay as a variable as well, because we are going to be using an overlay in this theme too, which is going to be an RGBA value. And it's going to be 50 for red, 146 for green, 166 for blue. So basically the same color, just in RGBA, so that we can have an opacity or an alpha value of 0.8. Okay, and those are really the only two variables that we're going to need. Now the body, I want to push the body down because it's a really thick nav bar and I don't want content to go underneath it. So we're going to say margin top 105 pixels. And if you want to put other stuff in variables, feel free to do so. It's up to you how you want to structure it. For the navbar itself, so class navbar, I want a box shadow. And I'm going to set it to 2 pixels. So this is horizontal offset, vertical, blur. I'll do a 5 pixel. And then the color is going to be our primary variable. I'm going to set the opacity to 0.9. And let's set the background of the navbar to white. Now with Sass, I want to do the navbar item. So normally we would do like navbar, and then we would do nav dash item like that. But with Sass, we can actually nest styles. So I can just take just the nav item here, and I can put it inside here. Like that. Okay, you can't, I mean, this isn't something that you can do with CSS. And this is only going to target nav items that are within this nav bar. It's not like any nav item anywhere on the page this is going to affect. It has to be within the nested, within the parent. So let's set a font size. And I'm actually going to use a rem unit here. So I'm going to say 1.4 rem. And we kind of went over rem units. It's basically a multiplier of the HTML font size, which is by default 16 pixels. And then let's set a padding right, and we'll also do 1.4 rem. So let's save that and see what it looks like. And there we go. So now we have this big fat nav bar. It looks much different than your standard Bootstrap nav bar. We have a logo. We have some larger fonts, and we have this nice box shadow underneath. All right, so now that we've done that, in the next video, we're going to start to work on the showcase area, and we're also going to change the primary color of all of the primary stuff within Bootstrap, so that'll get compiled into our custom Bootstrap CSS. All right, so I'll see you in the next video.